Hello and welcome to Learning Music with Pat. You know, last time in the last segment I showed you a Peruvian ocarina. So this time I've decided to bring in some Peruvian flutes, and I have 4 of them here, and they're all different colors, but they're all beautiful. So I'm going to show them to you, and maybe we can catch what they look like. This is a purple one. I'm trying to find a good place so that it can be seen. And this is a black one. Oops. This is a red one. I've had this one the longest, the red one. That's good. And this is the green one. So let me show them to you again now that we have the close-up shot. The green. And you'll notice there is a tone hole in the back of it, right here. It's very small, but it's there. And I'll describe the mouthpieces to you in a minute, but this is the green one. They all look somewhat alike. They're all hand-carved, they're all handmade. This is the red one. There is no tone hole in the back of the red one. There is in the green one. The black one doesn't have a tone hole in the back either. And the purple one, I'm very fond of the purple. It's one of my favorite colors. That is beautiful. That one does have a tone hole in the back. I want to mention the mouthpieces of these instruments. These instruments have a fipple mouthpiece, but it appears as if there's like a wooden area in the back. It's all hand-carved bamboo, and that's the reason. So the block is actually hand-carved bamboo. Now, a block in other instruments, for other recorders, I'll use this one because this one it's a little different color. It's a part of the instrument, it's a part of the mouthpiece, but they all have a block, and that does go in the inside of the instrument. With these instruments here, of course, it's all hand carved with the bamboo. And when I see, and I'm going to bring this instrument out to show you. This has got so much of a wooden block, and it's a metal instrument. It's not a bamboo instrument. It's metal. It's actually a Clark's instrument, and that's called a wooden plug. So it is a wooden plugged fipple mouthpiece, if you want to get technical about it. Nobody would know what that means, but that's what it is. The instruments play somewhat. They don't play well. The red one plays very poorly, if at all, because it has already started to split. And when it splits, then you just can't get anything from it. You know, it does, I think I can get a few notes out of it. When I first got it, I actually played 2 or 3 solos on it. In order to get an octave, I just blow harder. There's no tone hole in the back, so there's no way to get an octave by using a tone hole in the back. Now I'll try the others. They're not much better, if at all. This one does have a tone hole in the back. Some do and some don't, but you'll notice that most of them are starting to crack. Just to try them out. This is the purple one. It does have a tone hole. Actually, this isn't bad. So they're all hand-carved, hand-painted, made out of bamboo. I thought it would be interesting to bring them in because I don't know how many people have ever seen these instruments. Sometimes you can get them at fairs or places where they just sell them as novelty items, but they're all handmade and they're all from Peru. And you can see what the Peruvian people do, and I'll show you once again the Peruvian ocarina. They love to paint and do things in very bright colors. That's what makes them so so attractive, and they have wonderful designs on them. So they're real artists who make these things up, and they do actually play. But normally when you go to a concert, you'll never see one of these instruments. So I like to bring in what I have just to show you. Okay, so what I want to do next is I'm going to play a song that I wrote, and we're going to use a single track and then a double track. And it's just so you can see some of the things you can do when you're writing music with yourself. So let's start with a single track, and that's on 15. Okay, so now we'll do the double track, and what's going to happen is I pre-recorded 2 of the parts, and I'll be adding a 3rd part, so I'll be playing a trio with myself. It's like you have a regular trio. And what I did was I played the song, and then I added a part to it, and we recorded to the first recording to get the double recording, and then I played to that recording and get a trio. I might try a quad sometime. Well, anyway, what I want to show you next, you see what I have to do to play. You see that you have to tongue, you have to slur, you have to know how to play the notes, you have to have timing. So I want to show you just some, since we're doing a review here, a little about how to hold the instrument, how to play the instrument, how you tongue it, how you read the timing. Now, I already showed you last segment how you hold the instrument, and the fingers have to be curved and the thumb hole has to be covered. Well, what do you do when you actually blow into it? You should put the mouthpiece in your mouth about 1/3 of the way, like this. Some people try to swallow it, and it doesn't work. Some people puff their cheeks out, and it doesn't work. You don't ever have to puff your cheeks out when you're playing a woodwind or a brass instrument if you do it right. And I've been watching concerts lately where everybody's got their cheeks puffed out, but it's not necessary to do that. And I would never allow a person that I was teaching to do that, because it's just not the right way to play. I can't say so much about the brass because I'm not a brass person, but I'm sure the same holds true. So you put the mouthpiece in your mouth about 1/3 of the way, and you blow lightly. But when you blow, you put your tongue up to the top of the mouthpiece as if you're saying ta or ta. Now, you don't say those words audibly, but as if you were going to. If you say the word do, if you just say it to yourself, do, or say it out loud, what you do is you put your tongue on your teeth and then you pull it away. If you don't pull it away, you don't get the duh sound. In order to get the duh sound, you get to have your tongue on your teeth and then pull it away. Well, you do the same thing for an instrument. I'm not going to just sit there and go, I'm going to sit there and go, and sometimes what I like to do is I tongue for 2 notes and then I slur 2 notes. It makes a big difference when you're playing. If I were going to try to play all of those notes and just blow without tonguing, it would sound terrible. You wouldn't be able to get any of the notes crisply. You would be it would just be a blotch of sound that you would get. It wouldn't sound good. So the mistakes that most beginners make, they're going to try to flatten their fingers, which just can't be done because you can't play any scale work or fast notes that way. You can't be guaranteed that you're closing the holes that way. The other thing is they're going to try to play without tonguing because they've never heard of it. They don't know anything about it, which is why I'm such I'm just so strict about it, because in any instrument, clarinets, saxophones, any woodwind instruments, oboe, bassoon, flute, you've got to be able to tongue or you're not going to be able to get your notes. But the same is true of this kind of an instrument, a recorder. The same is true of a penny whistle or any other kind of instrument. That's what you have to do. Now, I did some other fancy tonguing, and I could break out and play can-can or something like that. That's kind of like the introduction to can-can. I just play what's in my head. I hear music in my head all the time. So that's what you have to do. Now, there's a lot of similarity if you're playing another woodwind instrument, and I brought some extras in here, so I may as well show them to you. The same principles that I'm showing you in terms of the recorder is true of any of the other woodwind instruments, the lighter woodwind instruments that I call melody flutes. You know, melody flutes I use as a term to cover all of the recorder instruments and instruments that are recorder-like. So I'll show some of them. This is a sassuto. I've used it a lot. I love the sassuto. There's no hole in the back. It's played a lot like the recorder. There's no tone in the back. So because of that, it's not going to pitch exactly the same. It's going to be one step off. But you have the labium. You have in the back, you have the block. And the mouthpiece is about the same. It gives a louder, kind of a brighter sound. And it comes in different sizes, in different colors, usually in black. But I do have one in white. Then you have the Clark's flutes, and they have the wooden fipple mouthpiece. They're going to be softer in their tone because of that, but you're still going to play them in about the same kind of way. There is no tone hole in the back. You get the octaves by just blowing a little harder. And then you have the penny whistles. Now the penny whistles, I have 3 or 4 of them with me, and so I'll show them to you. This is the littlest one I have. It's in the key of G. And as you know, the shorter the instrument, the louder the sound, the higher pitched sound it makes. The sound is based upon the length of the instrument, the length of the tube that you're using. So the difficulty in playing it is the fact that you have, you know, your fingers are close together. But I'm using the same thing. I'm tonguing or I'm slurring. I've got my fingers left on top, right on the bottom. They're all curved. They're all covering the holes. This is a very high-pitched instrument. But the next one I have up here, they come in different sizes and colors. This is in the key of F. They're either gold or silver, the bodies of them in the terms of the metal. And the mouthpieces, which are Fipple mouthpieces, are always plastic. And the one I showed you was in red. This is in red. I have one in green. And I have one silver with a blue top. I'll try them all. I just want to show you the similarities in these instruments and how they actually work. I do like these instruments. You can play a lot with them. This is in the key of D. The different sizes give you the different keys as well. And the largest one I have one larger than this, but the largest one that I brought with me today is going to be the C. It's a little bit larger, and when you have a larger instrument, the stretches between the tone holes are greater, and they're harder to play if you have arthritis or a hand problem. But for younger people, that's usually not a problem. The finger stretches aren't too bad on this, but the longer the instruments, the larger they are, the wider the hand stretches are. And we talk about piano hands, the length of the fingers being if you have an advantage if you have long fingers. But with the woodwinds, what you really need to have is to be able to get wide stretches between the fingers, because that's where the stretches are going to be. Okay, then you have your flutophones. You can get them black with white trim. The most popular is the white with the red trim. They have a tone hole in the back, and they've got a really good tone. They only do an octave, but they have the same kind of principles apply. How you hold it, the fingers being curved, the tone holes being completely covered, including the one in the back. But you could only get one octave, sometimes one octave in one note. Now, this is a little song flute. I thought I had a tonette with me. I can't seem to find it here, but anyway, they're similar. And there is a little story about this one. This one was given to me. I was riding in a car with some of my nieces and nephews, and they picked it up and they said, "It's been in the car a few years, Pat, but you can have it if you want it, because we don't want it anymore, and besides that, it doesn't play." And I'm thinking, why would it? You never keep an instrument in severe cold weather. It always needs to be in room temperature, and you never have them in the heat. The heat of a car can kill them. It'll split them. It'll do all kinds of things to them. So they handed this to me, and it wouldn't play. They said it wouldn't. I took it. I accepted it, and I bathed it with alcohol, made sure it was nice and clean. I didn't get anything in the inside of it, but just on the outside. If you're cleaning an instrument, don't touch the pads, don't touch the rods, and you don't have to worry about about it with recorders and instruments like that because they don't have rods and pads, but you can clean flutes, saxophones, clarinets. You just have to be careful of that. It wouldn't play, and I just kept blowing into it, and it gave a little tiny squeaky tone. And I was thrilled by that because I figure if it's starting to play, I think it can repair. So I kept at it, just a little bit here, a little bit there, and pretty soon it's playing a squeaky little note, then 2 or 3 squeaky little notes, and I keep going with it and going with it and going with it, and eventually it plays the whole octave in pitch, although it's not the same pitch as a C melody recorder, with a very nice tone. So basically, I brought it back. And most people would have just tossed it out. But I don't believe in doing that. I believe in working with them and bringing them back if they could come back. And once they're in my care, once they're part of my collection, I wouldn't get rid of them anyway. Now here again, we only have 1 octave. So there's a lot, and even with the melodica, now I did bring the melodica with me. This is a Hohner melodica. It's a German make. It's a very nice make. I have a piccolo that's made by Hohner, and it's just a very nice instrument. But you do the same kind of thing. Left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. It's not like a recorder. It has reeds in the inside, but you press it. So you have a chance to actually blow inside the instrument, and then you get the tone from it. And to clean it, there's no real way to clean it. You can blow on it, and when you blow on it, to get the moisture out of it, what you have to do is just blow. If you press a note down, you're going to get a tone. It's nice to get chords out of it. A lot of people really like this instrument. It's a little harsh on the tone. I have another melodica that's softer toned and has a keyboard that looks more like a keyboard. But you can see this is arranged just like a keyboard with the black and the white keys. And it's arranged like that. So anyway, I'm kind of running out of time. There's more I would have liked to have shown you. But the whole principle is the same. Left hand on top, right hand on the bottom. Cover the tone holes. Always keep the fingers curved. Never flatten them. Always tongue. When you're blowing into it, don't just blow, but make sure that you tongue. Now, next time we're going to go into timing, how you can read music, and so you understand when you're playing something, what you're playing, how to know what the notes are, how to finger the notes, and that kind of thing. So we'll continue with this next time. Please join me then.